So I go in the hospital, I have my appendix taken out, and I'm laying on the bed. They wheel me into surgery, getting ready to put the mask on me to knock me out. And this clean-cut guy, all dressed in clean hospital attire, walks up next to the bed, and I look up at him. I'm like, "Doctor, are you the one who's going to be performing this surgery on me? Do you have a lot of experience with this?" Guy looks down at me and says, "Yeah, I've been in the medical industry for 30 years. And all of a sudden, out of the background, the nurse screams, "No, you haven't, Joe. You've just been the janitor for 30 years. All right. Well, as funny and as stupid as that sounds, that's what many air conditioning contractors out there are like. Is just because they've been in the industry for 30 years, maybe they've been a helper or something, doesn't mean that they know what they're doing. Doesn't mean that they don't. And in this video today, we're going to talk about how some of the things that we do in society create the opportunity for these people to be unlicensed to steal. ProCalcs University. You don't know what you don't know. Hi, I'm Tom Platania, owner of ProCalcs and ProCalcs University. And that's kind of funny what we talked about in the intro, but this is true to a lot of HVAC contractors. And, we kind of feed into it as homeowners and sometimes as professionals that we don't know. And we think that, well, whether they're licensed or not licensed, that doesn't matter as long as I get a good product. But whether you have an HVAC contractor's license or not, in the state of Florida and in many states, in order to perform HVAC load calculations and duct designs and whatnot, you are supposed to be a licensed professional. Let's use the state of Florida for example. In the state of Florida, you are not allowed to do designs or installation or service without an HVAC contractor's license. Now, you can do design work if you're a mechanical engineer, but it's not allowed to be submitted to the building department in order for the architect or the builder or the homeowner to get their permit. So you're supposed to be licensed. However, just because you have a license does not mean that you're qualified. Nowadays with a lot of the continuing education that you can get stuff online very inexpensive for $79 just to keep a license going, which it really gives you very little information or education about your trade. It's just very generic things, and you can go right online, take the classes for $79, and then every 2 years you submit your CEU credits. Still not doing anything to verify that you know what you're doing in the industry. And this is a big problem. Now, here's one tricky way to be careful that there are a lot of HVAC contractors that do this. And I'm going to give you an example here. So I am a licensed HVAC contractor in the state of Florida. My license number is CAC 1815254. Now, that license gives me the permission to do installations and service and design of HVAC equipment. However, there's kind of a loophole in the system, and what I could actually do if I wanted to is I'm allowed to qualify more than one company with my HVAC license. So what has been done in the industry, and people have gotten caught, is what I'll do is I'll go out on the black market and I'll find somebody who is maybe a brand new service technician or installer, and he's frustrated with who he's working for, and he wants to open up his own company. He knows he can do it better. Well, he doesn't have the time, the desire, or the want to get his HVAC license because it is very time consuming and it costs money. So what he does is he goes out and finds me, who put my note on the black market that I'm willing to lease out my license. So he finds me and he says, "Hey, I'll be willing to pay you $1,500 to use your license." Well, the way it happens illegally is I'll qualify his business with my license. I'll sign a bunch of building permits because the person who's the licensed contractor must sign and review all the projects, be a part of the day-to-day business. So I sign a bunch of blank ones, I hand it to him, I go off about my life and my business, and he just runs his business using my license. Well, that's very illegal to do. Okay? If I am going to qualify his business, I need to sign each permit as it's needed. I need to be part of the day-to-day installation and service process. Now, technically, in the state of Florida, I could be the license holder, and then I would, if I don't want to be financially responsible for the business, he would then qualify as the FRO, the financially responsible officer. But that's not what happens in scams like this. In scams like this is I qualify the business, I go off, I could be living in a different city, different state, but my license is still in Florida. He runs the business, and the courts and the Department of Business and Financial Regulations, they catch stuff like this all the time. And there's an example of actually somebody who used to work for ProCalcs. And well, he got frustrated and decided he wanted to quit. And he thought that he could open up his own HVAC design business with just the teeny bit of experience that he had from us. He has no field experience. He has no business experience. He has no license. He has no bonding. He has no insurance. He has no nothing. But because we make it easy in this industry, he just opened up some ridiculous business that's not even qualified and goes out and starts marketing to people. Well, what we do as architects and builders, if we really don't care because we're licensed, if we can get the cheaper chicken and we can get him to do calculations for $200, $300, $400 versus a mechanical engineer or someone else who's charging $400, $500, $600, well, he's the cheaper chicken. I don't care if he's not licensed. I don't care if he's not insured. But you don't care about it now until all hell breaks loose. And what happens is let's say I'm that person. I have no license, I have no background, I have no experience, I have no insurance, I have no nothing. I do a design for you, you're the architect, you put that design in the house, the HVAC company installs it, and all of a sudden 6 months later, the house has got mold growing. Just throughout the whole house, they have to take out tons and tons of drywall, clean it out, air it out. And if you actually read my book, You Don't Know What You Don't Know, HVAC, it's on Amazon and whatnot, we actually talk about a specific client who had this issue. Well, if I'm the guy with no insurance and no license, and you're the architect or the homeowner, and you need to come back to me to fix the problem, well, I got no money because I don't even have money to get my own license or insurance. I just did the designs. Well, now you as the end user, you have nothing to fall back on. Now you could bring me to civil court and try to sue me, but you can't get blood out of a stone, because if I don't have money to do all the other stuff and I don't have the patience to do things correctly, well, you're not going to get any money out of me. So now you got to foot the bill for 10, 15, 20, hundreds of thousands of dollars, all because you saved a couple $100 by going with somebody who's unlicensed and uninsured. Now, the insurances that you would look for is, one would be professional liability insurance. And that's kind of like an errors and admissions insurance, which means that if I do your design and I put the wrong heater on, or I leave the heater off, or maybe I use the wrong power voltage or something, that's an error or emissions on the plan. Now, if somebody installs that equipment and then there's damage like the mold and whatnot, then there is something that we have called general liability insurance, which actually covers against physical damage. Now, the person that you use, besides being licensed, they need to have these things. And as far as I know, most insurance companies shouldn't be offering these products, errors and emissions or professional liability insurance or general liability insurance, unless the person has a legitimate license to begin with. I know when I filled mine out, that was a big deal about the license and qualifications. So you really need to be careful. Now, in the link below, I'm going to leave two links to the Business Department of Professional Regulations, DBPR, of Florida, and a place that you could actually go and check a person's name to see if they're licensed, to see who the licensee of the business is, and then also a business website where you can go and actually check the validity of the business. And unless there's the financially responsible officer, the person who's licensed should be the primary owner of the business, typically, or they should at least be on there. So it's something definitely to check, but don't give these people the ability to do what they're doing wrong. And, and this one guy who used to work for me, that, the reason that the Department of Business and Professional Regulations really doesn't care is he's a small fish in a big pond. If he's only doing, a couple $1,000 versus these other people that are scamming millions of dollars into construction. And see, well, they're just going to let him go until, somebody physically complains because there's a monetary loss involved in it. So you really need to do your homework. Now, just because somebody is licensed, again, doesn't mean that they know what they're doing. So you need to ask the questions. When's the last time they went to training? What type of courses and classes have they taken? Are they a part of any affiliates or organizations, like if they're with Train or Carrier or Lennox, and they get constant updates on equipment and technical advice and stuff like that from those companies, which I know Train and Carrier both do. I'm sure I know Lennox does. I'm sure there's a lot of other companies. But you need to find out what kind of qualifications and training these people have had before you allow them to do work for you, whether you're an architect or a builder or a homeowner. Or if you're another HVAC company looking for someone like our company to help you with load and energy calcs, because, well, you make more money going out in the field, working with your clients and doing the installs, and you don't have time to do this, or just don't have the knowledge right now, then you would hire a company like ours, ProCalcs. But please, ladies and gentlemen, you need to make sure you do your due diligence. And if you're one of the people watching this video and you're one of the people that focuses on hiring unlicensed people because you think that they might be better upstanding citizens because they like to circumnavigate the system, well, think of it this way. If they don't care enough to follow some of the basic rules of contracting, how do you think that they're going to care anything about doing the right thing for you? Don't give them the power to be unlicensed to steal. Okay, and in my next video that I'm going to do, I'm actually going to give you, we're going to talk about a specific issue that I had with a client where someone who was licensed, who did not follow proper procedures for when you install a system having a specific startup checklist, and caused an apartment complex tens of thousands of dollars because they didn't do one thing that would have taken less than 10 minutes and would have found the issue before the system was even finalized. Thanks for watching ProCalcs University. And don't forget to click the like button and also click the subscribe. And right next to subscribe, there's that little bell there. And if you click on that, every time I submit a video on YouTube, you're going to get notified first so you can see any of the great upcoming things that we have. And if there's anything you want to talk about, go ahead and put it in comments below. And like some of the other people, I've been happily able to get back to them and help answer some questions so that I can better educate you. Listen, everybody, today is Christmas Eve, and I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and Happy Holidays to everybody. Thank you from the ProCalcs team. ProCalcs University. You don't know what you don't know.